Hello and welcome to For Fox's Sake. This is the preview. We've got a full house for you this evening. Myself, Rob Hayes, and we've got James and Jono Towers and Sam Cook to look ahead to Leicester City's away trip to Birmingham City on Saturday for a 3:01 p.m. kickoff at St Andrews. Now, we're bringing you this live on Thursday, the 5th of February. And just a couple of hours ago, the news broke that Leicester City's points deduction has finally been confirmed after what feels like years and years and years of waiting. And it's been confirmed at 6 points. So Leicester deducted 6 points immediately and dropping us to just outside the relegation zone on goal difference. 20th place we are now, just ahead of Blackburn and West Brom, who are level on 32 points just below us. So there you go. Bit of cheerful news for you to start with. Now, we're going to be talking about that a little bit, but trying to sort of steer it towards how might that affect things on Saturday and going forward for the rest of the season. If you're interested in unpicking the points deduction a little bit more, our website for foxake.news and our social media pages, particularly Facebook and X, are the places to go for more opinion and reaction to the 6 point deduction. As I say, it will form part of our conversation this evening. And if you've got anything to say on that, preferably related to the Birmingham game and future games, then please do get your comments in if you're watching along live. For foxake.news, the website, find us on Facebook and X as well. Pete Selby has... I have to take a little bit of credit for it. I helped him make it a little bit more concise, but Pete Selby has put his concise opinion onto that. I know there's a much longer opinion piece in the pipeline from Andy Moore on the website later on this evening. So for foxake.news, loads of chat around the 6 point deduction. Now, a week is a long time in football, don't they say that? And this time last week on the preview, Jono had his disco lights on. We were celebrating the news that Boubakary Samari had been shipped out of the club finally. But this time last week, we had 3 big unknowns hanging over the club. We didn't know if we were going to sign any players in the January transfer window. We still didn't know how many points were being deducted, even though there was a feeling and there were lots of rumours with quite a lot of backing behind them that was coming soon. And we didn't have a manager. Now, we sit here a week later on the preview, and we've had 2 of those 3 questions asked. We have clarity on who are the playing staff for the rest of the season. We have clarity on what the points deduction is and what that means in terms of our position in the table. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad, really. And I think most of us are content at the moment in the short term with Andy King being in charge of the club. So it feels like we're a little bit more settled. So with that in mind, I will open the show and open the conversation to the guests with a question that's probably got a lot more to it than I'm going to ask you for a concise answer to. But how are we feeling ahead of Saturday? Optimistic, pessimistic? James, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, Birmingham are very much a mid-table team this year, but they have got a very good home record. They've only lost once at home all season, so I think it's going to be a difficult game. I was looking earlier; there doesn't seem to be much gossip or rumours about whether any of the 4 players are going to start on Saturday. Obviously, Lascelles and Aribo, the guy from Southampton, obviously have barely played all season. I mean, Lascelles has barely played for the last 4 years. So, and then the 2 young lads, you might throw them in, you might not. Yeah, my emotion towards, or my feeling towards Saturday has not really changed because of the signings or the points deduction, really. I still... we go kind of going into every game 50-50, aren't we? Because, there's no... it's been a long time since we've gone into a game thinking we're 80% likely going to win. So that's kind of how I feel. Not much has changed, really. I'm happy that we've signed these players, but, I don't know if they're going to be make an impact on Saturday.
So, Jono, the big news hasn't really swayed James's 50-50, no idea whether to be optimistic or pessimistic every single Leicester fixture. Anything changed for you, Jono? Are we feeling a bit more optimism about Saturday? Have we lost Jono? That was you. That was aimed at you, Jono.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute there. Yeah, first of all, you were talking about 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'm sure that's a Meatloaf song, isn't it?
Well, we had a musical interlude from you last week, Jono. Feel free to get your Meatloaf impression out in a bit.
I was just looking at the lyrics. I want you, I need you, but there is no way I'm ever gonna love you. Now, don't be sad because 2 out of 3 ain't bad, or something like that.
I think that can be aimed at Harry Winks, can't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Anyway, regardless of all that nonsense, I am feeling a bit more positive. I've got no rationale for why. I think Lascelles coming in, if his legs hold up, is exactly what we need at the back. If he can galvanise a better defensive setup, and we can. Some of the Man City lad that's coming in is exciting. He's young, so I'm not going to expect too much. But, by all accounts, he's supposed to be a bit of a prodigy. So if he can hit the ground running. And the guy from Southampton, I heard some stuff on another podcast talking about him being, a decent signing, and also a signing from Southampton that's been left out at Southampton, and he's coming in needing to find a new contract. So maybe he'll be motivated to try and make a bit of a difference as well. So regardless of all that, we still need a striker in. I know we've signed the young lad from Chelsea, but yeah, we need to, that was a big miss, a massive miss, I think. So on the whole, I am more optimistic because we've got some of the deadwood gone, some new faces in the squad, but we haven't covered all of our bases, I don't think. And the fact that we've now got the points deduction out in the open, we now know what we're dealing with. Feels like, that was hanging over us for ages. And maybe that was having an effect on the squad. Maybe that was having an effect on everyone at the club. I don't know. But at least now we know what we need to do to stay up. And I'm fingers crossed we've got enough in the squad to be able to stay up. There's not been much evidence of that recently, but with the new faces, maybe with a new manager, I'm feeling like we should have enough to stay up. But we've said that before, haven't we?
That sounded like a hint of optimism there from Jono. Sam, how are we feeling about Saturday?
Yeah, of course optimistic. I mean, we're football fans, we're deluded in our optimism a lot of the time, in our romanticism, right? It's like, okay, let's say you've got a game in hand. Tell me you don't look at that and automatically add 3 points to the table. Of course you do. And so now we're in this period between the transfer window closing and our first match. Every player we've signed is going to be a world beater. They're going to be amazing, right? Like Julian Kranz is going to score 20 goals. I mean, sorry, Joe Aribo is going to score 20 goals. They're all going to be brilliant. They're going to be exactly what we need. Our scouting department has never failed us, and we'll bring in these players and they're going to right the ship. Happy days.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Andy Moore, for fuck's sake, is feeling very optimistic, saying I'm going for a clean sheet. He's kind of following on from your hint of sarcasm there, Sam.
It is a hint of sarcasm, but actually I also do believe it. Right? I mean, I think Lascelles is a good signing. I think he's the sort of defender we need if he can stay fit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, we've got hungry players that want to prove themselves, that want to reignite their careers. Great. Get them in. Yeah. And they're going to get minutes because, blimey, we've got no one else.
Very, very true. Good evening to Buzzer1224 watching along live on YouTube. Thanks for your comments. And we have no option but to try our best to back the lads, stay up and rebuild and try and get into the playoffs next season. Yeah, I think Top's comments about the playoffs being the target for this season maybe are a tad ambitious, I was going with, but deluded will also run with. Yeah. But I think Buzzer's right.
Into his own duty free.
Yeah. I think Buzzer's right, though, in the sense that, and that's the kind of feeling that I get, is that we can no longer sit here as fans and whinge about or worry about whether something was going to happen in the transfer window. We can no longer sit here with the points deduction hanging over our heads. It is now very much the clarity of the task is there. Okay, we don't have the person that is ultimately steering the ship right in place at this moment in time, but everything else, as best it can for now, is covered, and it's almost a case of let's get ourselves to the end of the season without any more hardship, and have a look at the next season. You'll enjoy this one from Pete Selby of For Fox's Sake. We're going to win the League One. Thank you, Pete. Thomas has been checking the odds for us, saying we're currently 125 to 1 for promotion. Put 50p on it. Yeah, well, some people have made some money off of betting on Leicester in the last 10 years, haven't they? Did I put this one already? I'm not sure I did. Did I? Don't know.
No.
Thomas said, relieved that we finally know where we are with the points deduction. King's passion and caring for the club, being in charge with some new players. It has the feeling of positivity. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the message from the opening third of the show, really, is that we are largely looking forward, looking positive. Let's have a look at the team then. We've kind of briefly mentioned the new signings. Again, if you're looking for more For Fox's Sake opinion on the new signings, the website for foxsake.news is the place to go, as well as our most recent show. You can find all of our shows on YouTube at For Fox's Sake Live. If you are not subscribed already, please do so. Then you will not miss a show. There's an entire show dedicated to the new signings. So Jamal Lascelles, hugely experienced. Lots of positive words coming from Newcastle United around him, both in terms of staff and supporters there. Joe Aribo, again, knows the division, has a lot of the attributes needed, but as the gents have already mentioned this evening, he and Lascelles are woefully short of match fitness. Now, interesting that Andy King said today that the only way to get the new signings match fit is to get them playing matches, and he said they brought them into the club to have an instant impact. You know, the other two, Divine Macassar and Dejan Richards, have both come in. They're young players, but they've come in on loan. They've not come in to sort of just bolster the development squad. They've come in to have an impact on the team. So the team news conversation is an interesting one. Oliver Skipp is available and can start in the midfield. Hamza Chowdhury out for at least February, and waiting a specialist opinion on a knee injury there. Vestergaard sounds doubtful to me, and I think if Lascelles looks all right in training this week, then he's probably going to go into centre-back alongside Ben Nelson. And I feel like Lascelles is the kind of player that would absolutely just motor through a game, even if he hasn't played that many, provided that the injuries are not in a position to affect him as much anymore. He missed pretty much the entirety of last season. Well, the entirety of last season with a serious injury. Only played a couple of times this season. So I think we're probably looking at mainly just Lascelles starting, unless anybody in the room's got anything, any alternative opinions. But then the other three as available from the bench. Dejan Richards hasn't played a senior game at club level, but has played a few times for the Jamaican senior national team, the men's national team. So he's got some different experiences, but I don't necessarily subscribe to the fact that he's quite ready to lead the line just yet. I'm happy to eat my words and watch him score 15 goals from starting every game for the rest of the season. So we'll go in reverse order this time. Sam, what are your thoughts team selection-wise? How many of the new signings come in for you? We've not even mentioned, there's so much going on. We've not even mentioned Harry Winks. He came back in, was forced back in out of necessity with the injury to Chowdhury at the weekend. But you know, a new manager, fresh, clean slate for the third or fourth time for Winks. What does the starting lineup look like for you, Sam?
Yeah, Winks is a funny one. I think, Andy Moore on his 5 things we learned from Charlton had a really good point. I think it was one of his 5 points on For Fox's Sake News was put your animosity aside because we need him. And I think, you know, we're level with the team in 20th on points at the minute. Sorry, we're in 20th. We're level with the relegation zone on points, and we're 5 superior goal difference. So we need to stay in this division, and if it means that we have to sort of hold our nose and play Harry Winks in midfield, I think that's a pretty obvious thing to do. Do we know about Ollie Skip? I think I saw he was slated to come back in.
Yeah, Skip's fit for Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I would agree. Then I think the back four, Lascelles will come in. It mostly picks itself. I think we've got probably 5 fit defenders at this point. Really, some big question marks at fullback, but we can only do so much in January. Midfield, yeah, I would have Skip and Winks. I think it makes sense, and then have Aribo potentially come on for the last 20, depending on how the match is going. Bobby DCR at 10, and then pick your poison up top. I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference.
Yeah, good point. Let's just go to the comments before we get your thoughts there, Jono and Jamie. Thanks for your comment on Facebook. Would you play Winks now? I'll let Jono and James offer their opinions. Sam's already given his, and it's a firm yes from him. Ashley, who's been on the show a couple of times, saying Ayew should be nowhere near the starting lineup on Saturday. So I guess the striker debate is one that Jono and James can maybe come on in a second there. Ashley also saying we've missed Skip. He does all the donkey work. Absolutely agree. And I think all the good stuff that he was doing in that partnership with Jordan James allowed James to be a little bit more free, knowing that Skip was going to be doing the legwork behind him. And Thomas saying that half a striker is better than Daka and Jordan combined. A half fit striker, a retype there from Thomas. So Jono, your thoughts on the starting lineup? We've got the Winks question, we've got the striker question. I think we'll probably leave the back four alone just in the interest of time. I think the back four is probably going to be as Sam and I have said. But further forward, Jono, what are we looking like for you?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as Sam. I think Winks has undoubtedly got the quality that we need at this moment in time. His motivation seems to have come back, whether it was lacking or whatever, I don't know, but I'd have him in, just through necessity, really. If we had a better option and we had, a choice, I wouldn't play him, but we haven't got a choice, so put him in. Up front, I think I'm with you on Ayew. He's been stinking the place out, hasn't he, for the last couple of games? Not putting in a great show. So I think it's worth a rotation there. Whether that means Daka, probably to start, I might go that way. But I would, the Man City lad apparently can play across the front line. So apparently he can play as a striker. And let's be honest, you can't be much worse than what we've got. So stick someone else up there and give him a go. Or even the Chelsea guy, I've forgotten his name, but, stick him on the bench and give him an option. I think start with Daka and then bring them on. I would maybe even bring them both on.
Yeah, so, I think I would imagine they'll both get a bit of game time on Saturday, and Richards comes with a decent goal scoring record, a lot of pace from Richards, and he's played on the sort of wider side of a front three before as well. I don't think he's going to come in and genuinely rival Mavadidi, Fatu, Monga, that kind of player for a wide a position out wide. But I agree in a sense with you about Divine Mukasa, but I think if you're playing him there, he's not going to be playing on the shoulder. He's not going to be the focal point of the attack. He's going to want to come and get involved and play in some pockets of space. And I think without a midfielder like Jordan James who can break the lines and go beyond, I think that kind of striker doesn't quite fit at the moment. Now, Jordan Ayew doesn't hold the ball up well enough for me, but he's the best. He's the best we've got at doing that. I say, I've just used the word best and Jordan Ayew in a sentence there, So it's an interesting point. I think Mukasa is probably going to be looking to see if he can dislodge Bobby Decordova-Reid from that number 10 role. Decordova-Reid's played up front in his career before, but I'm not convinced he's robust enough to lead the line in the Championship. James, your thoughts on the starting lineup on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Harry Winks, let him play. He's getting paid. does not be
A
charged.
lot of money as well. He's getting paid
Yeah.
a lot of money.
90 grand a week, apparently. Whether that's true or not, it's always hard to say, but I imagine it's quite high, and we can get a bit childish about these things. So yeah, just let him play. He's at work. I think, as we were saying, Lascelles is, I think, probably the most likely starter of the new signings, and Aribo maybe. I think, I don't know, what is the difference between starting Ayew and Daka? Like, I guess that one of them's a bit quicker than the other one, but they're both equally poor at finishing. So I don't think it really matters. Maybe you give Daka a run out. I'm making him sound like a dog, but he is a little bit, to be fair. And I definitely hope that one of the two new Mukasa or Richards get 20 minutes. Obviously, Munga's not played in the first team for a while. There'll be all kinds of reasons behind that. One of them being that he is still a child legally, so you have to factor that in. But it'd be, I like the idea that we could potentially have a front 3 or 4 of people all under the age of 21. And I think that's really exciting and could be really interesting. Is that the best thing in a relegation fight? It's difficult to say. But as we were saying earlier, we've got 12 games left. The whole kind of focus of the club. If we get 15 points from these 12 games, I think we'll be fine. I think 45 points will keep us up. So that should be the whole focus. So yeah.
Yeah. Andy Moore of For Fox's Sake saying Winks must start. Yeah, I think that's kind of been echoed by most of us. Sorry, Johnny, go on.
I think we've got 16 games left.
Yeah, 16 left.
Yeah, 46 game season.
Is that James thinking we were in the Premier League still and getting his maths wrong?
I thought we had. I thought it was 42 games in the.
No, 46. Yeah, 16 games left.
For some reason. I don't know why.
There we go. Jono's throwing the optimism around there. Got loads of games to get the points. We've got more comments coming in. Thomas saying, my worry is in previous games we have no penetration with Skip and Winks together. Yeah, I agree. I kind of made that point in terms of not having Jordan James to break the lines. But also I kind of take James's point that if you do have that front 4 of predominantly youthful players who hopefully haven't had the spontaneity trained out of them yet, you're almost, there's an argument there for the base of your midfield too and your back 4. If they're doing their jobs well enough and they can get the ball to those players, you almost, in some ways, don't need too much of a plan. You can almost get the ball to the quality players, like to Fatawu, to Mukasa, who seems like a really good playmaking, like really good technical player. He's got to have been poached from West Ham's academy into Man City's and have all this chat around him from Guardiola. So it's almost a case of, can everybody else do their job and get the ball to those lads? We've got another comment in from Richard. Thank you for watching, Richard, saying I would start all 4 of the new players. Why go for the failed players? Yeah, and I think that could become a reality within the next few weeks, maybe once they've settled in and had a bit more time training wise. So it's nice actually today, and we've got to bench that conversation there, but it's nice to have been able to talk about some potential options, because for so many weeks now on the preview, we've been like, well, we're going to have to name the same 11 players because that is literally all we've got. Now I'm going to have to do a little bit of technical admin here. Give me 2 seconds, everybody. Just need to rearrange my screen slightly because we have got an additional guest joining us. Let's pop you guys there and let's pop him in here. And it's a very warm welcome to For Fox's Sake to Sam Sheppy. Now, Sam is a Birmingham City blogger, podcaster, and since I picked him from a training course 3 months ago, Birmingham City commentator as well. So, Sam, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I guess we're about 5 minutes out from the end of the show because, as you'll have heard, you've been sat waiting in the wings. We've had quite a lot to discuss with 4 new transfers, first game since we got those in, and a 6 points deduction being announced a couple of hours ago. what can we expect from your point of view from Birmingham City on Saturday in terms of what would you say is maybe their number one strength that we need to watch out for as Leicester fans, but also from your point of view, what about Birmingham City could Leicester look to exploit?
Evening, everyone. I think from a Birmingham perspective, going into this game, we're full of optimism, to be honest, because this season's been very up and down, hence why we're 13th and, slap bang in the middle of the table. And at the start of the season, I felt like we kind of underestimated the Championship because we tried to play the exact same football that we did in League One, but just against better opposition, it didn't quite work out. And then the January window, we've had quite a bit of an overhaul because 12 first-team players left and a load of new players have joined, and 15 million was spent in the window. So it's a real attempt from Chris Davis and from the board to try and get us into those top 6 places. And we're on a bit of an unbeaten run at the moment, our best run in the league so far. So confidence is slowly building. I think what we've improved at in recent weeks is our possession and the way that we control games out of the ball as well, and our press, because that's something that was lacking at the start of the season because we had players that were capable, technically, but the way that we worked outside of possession wasn't quite there. But I feel like the players now are really switched onto it and, really suffocating teams and pressing them high and causing mistakes and getting goals via that factor rather than kind of passing them to death. So I feel like it's been a bit of a change in the way that we've approached games, and that's why we're more positive.
A press, guys. Leicester fans in the room. A press. What is a press? We've not seen one of them under Cifuentes. We kind of saw 10-man Leicester try and press Charlton a little bit more last weekend than we've seen for the last few months. Is there a way, Sam, that Leicester can get at Birmingham? Bear in mind that we are struggling for optimism at the moment here, slightly differently to you guys. We are now just teetering above the relegation zone on goal difference and looking a lot further down than we are up. Is there anything that you think you could exploit? Anything that you've seen from Leicester this season that you think might cause Birmingham some problems?
So I think about the game like at the start of the season and when Leicester capitalised on our individual mistakes, because for the first goal, I believe it was a pass from Pate to Led and it was just intercepted by Fataru, who ran up the pitch and then slotted the ball into the top corner. And then for the second goal, he brought on Monga as a substitute. He'd done really well out wide to cross the ball to Pereira, who knocked the ball in. So I feel like with you guys, there is opportunity to capitalise on our individual errors, but I feel the case for this game at home, that there is just naturally less of them because we are better at home, because it's one loss in the last 2 seasons in the league at home, and we've really made St Andrews a fortress. But I feel like where Leicester can get at us is maybe from set pieces. There's somewhere where we have struggled, and Stoke came to St Andrews a couple of weeks ago, really depleted squad, full of injuries, but they managed to get a point away from home, and it was via a set piece that they got their goal. It was a Cresswell corner, and then it was an own goal from Neumann just because they put it in a dangerous area. So I feel like set pieces this season has been a bit of a weakness for us. So if you guys have some good set piece takers, some aerial threats inside the box, that's somewhere where you could cause us problems. I know you're laughing because of, I suppose, what's happened with Leicester this season, but we've seen teams come to St Andrews and cause us problems, regardless of whether they've got a good set piece record or not.
Sam, have no fear. We are terrible at attacking and defending set pieces, and we have got one player who is above 6 foot in height. So you're absolutely fine from set pieces, unless Andy King has spent all week on the training ground just doing an Arsenal and working out the best way to get set piece goals. You're absolutely fine. Guys, we're coming nearing the end of the show. So those of you watching along, it's time to get your predictions in on the comments. You've got a couple of minutes to do so while we go around the studio and do the very same. So, James, we'll start with you. How do you think the game's going to go on Saturday in terms of patterns of play? Who do you think might stand out? And ultimately, what do you think the score is going to be on Saturday? James, we'll go to you first.
I'm hoping that one of the 2 new young lads gets some game and does something, whether it might not be scoring, it might not be assisting, but even just like a couple of successful dribbles, just something a bit exciting that the fans can get into. And my score prediction is 3-3.
3-3, a 3-3 thriller with some new young talent on the pitch. I love that. Jono, score prediction, and how's the game going to go on Saturday for you?
I'm probably going to sound a little bit more sensible than that, or I don't know, conservative, I suppose. I'm going to fancy us to nick it, but really scruffily, maybe a 2-1. But by the sounds of it, Sam, you've got a load of new players in. I'm hoping just for this 1 week that they haven't quite settled in yet, and we I don't know, we catch you on the hop or something. I mean, it's only hopeful, but I'll take a draw, frankly. But I'm hoping for 2-1.
Sam, we'll go to you next so that we don't end up finishing our Leicester show on a Birmingham City-based prediction. Just we like to get in the optimism and the hope where we can. What are you expecting from Saturday's game, and what do you think the score will be?
So as John said, we are still integrating the new signings into the squad because Prisca and Vincente, who we signed a couple of weeks ago, are still yet to start a game for Birmingham. They've been used off the bench, and we also got Jonathan Panzo on deadline day. So he's someone that I imagine will be sort of a squad player to start off with. So whether those January transfers make an impact straight away or not, I'm not too sure. But I think what you can expect from Birmingham, especially in a home game, is that if we get the first goal, the crowd are going to be really up for it and they're going to make it a really hostile atmosphere. And I feel like the first goal is going to be so important to this game. If Leicester get it and then have something to hold on to, it could be difficult for us to break you guys down. But I feel like if Birmingham get it, then we could win by quite a long distance. So I'm going to say that we are going to get the first goal. And I'm going to go actually for a pretty ambitious 3-0 Birmingham just because of the feel-good factor around the place and the fact that the new signings have come in. So I just hope that all of this comes together and we put in a good performance on Saturday.
I knew I shouldn't have invited you on the show. 3-0
So, sorry, Rob. Apologies.
You're absolutely fine. It's your honest opinion. You've watched a lot more of Birmingham City than we have, and we've had to watch Leicester for the entire season. So 3-0 from Sam Sheppy of the Birmingham blue tinted glasses. Let's go for the Leicester blue tinted glasses of Sam Cook. What's your prediction for Saturday?
I'm going to go with the most fantastic, unexpected and unbelievable prediction, which is a dominating performance from Jamal Lascelles gives us a 0-0 clean sheet on both sides.
There you go. Things have gone very awry this evening if we're predicting a 3-3 or a 0-0, haven't they?
Can any of us remember the last Leicester 0-0?
I think it was not 0-0. But the last
clean sheet, because we kept a clean sheet in the last 6 months.
It was September against Coventry, but we won that, didn't we?
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
But I mean, we kept a clean sheet against Cheltenham, but I reckon if we put a five-a-side team together with us five, we could have kept a clean sheet against Cheltenham. Yeah. Let's go to the comments for a couple of predictions before we wrap up. Andy Moore saying 3-1 Leicester. A lot of goals in the predictions today. Aaron Bradford saying 3-0, and also Mallow official saying 2 goals from Dejuan Richards, 3-1 Leicester. That would be a way to announce yourself on the scene. I think I'm gonna stick with Jono on this one and go for something pretty steady-ish, like a 2-1. I don't think it's going to be particularly pretty, but I also will take a little bit of James' comments and say that I would like to see a bit of a spark. Maybe the game's 1-1 with 70 odd minutes gone and Makasa comes on or Richards comes on and just adds a bit of energy to the team and a little bit of sort of youthful exuberance that we used to see from Fatawu and Mavididi maybe 2 seasons ago now. So that's it. That's us wrapped up. We've done pretty well to pack a lot into a 33-minute show there. And thank you very much to everybody that's watched along and commented live as well. More reaction to the 6-point deduction to Leicester's movements on deadline day in the transfer window, both on the men's side and the women's side. Available at forfoxsake.news. Please do head over to our website, subscribe. It's only $5 a month or £50 for the entire year. Not only do you get our reaction to all the stuff that's going on day to day at Leicester City, but there's also loads of great historical content on there, interviews with ex-players and lots more lined up from Andy, myself and Pete in the next couple of months. And for those of you who are fans of Leicester City women, the women's football show is coming up in just over 15 minutes' time. That is live with the Telegraph's women's football reporter joining Lily Saunders on that show. So you've got just enough time to go and inhale your dinner or grab a quick cup of tea, and then we've got another live show for you in just over 15 minutes. But from the preview, from myself, James, John, and both the Sams, one of the Leicester persuasion, one of the Birmingham persuasion, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.